We have reached NFL Week 7, and funny enough, there are 7 games that I want to highlight as the most interesting games this weekend. Number 1 is the Atlanta Falcons at Miami. Atlanta is 2-3. The Dolphins are 1-5. And all week we have heard rumors about a potential trade with Miami trading for quarterback Deshaun Watson. I'm not going to give you any commentary on that trade. We'll talk about that later if it does happen. But I'm really interested, given the conversation happening there, how does the current Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa play this week? He's a second-year player. It's a good game from him. I guess a good game from him would really help him a lot. Whether his future is in Miami or maybe he gets traded to Pittsburgh or maybe he goes to Houston, like wherever he goes. I don't know. Maybe he goes to Denver. A lot of people are saying maybe Tua goes to Denver. Regardless of that, certainly it could not hurt Tua at all to have a big game, throw like 4 touchdowns and 350 yards, something like that. So I just am curious, how does Tua play this weekend at home against Atlanta, given all the stories that are circling and the rumors swirling about Miami wanting a new starting quarterback? And I'm sure they're trying to make that trade happen, because why else would we hear about it? And I believe the reason why that rumor came out, by the way, is Houston said, we're not getting very much in this trade from Miami. Let's put it out there, show that, hey, it's about to happen. Miami's going to trade for him. Anybody else? Anybody else have a better offer? And nobody does, I'm sure. But I think the reason why I believe that trade could happen is because I think Houston put it out saying we want more than what Miami's offering. So let's see if the awareness of this trade potentially happening gives us an even better offer from some other team. Game number 2, it's Kansas City at Tennessee. The Chiefs are 3-3. The Titans are 4-2. Tennessee has a good record. They might be a playoff team. Derrick Henry, their running back, is a stud. I'm interested to see how he runs against Kansas City. But I don't think that Tennessee is this great, amazing team. They've got a bunch of problems, including like their secondary is a mess with the Titans. And if Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City cannot win this game against the depleted Titans secondary, then we officially will have something wrong in KC. Likely though, I believe Patrick Mahomes is just going to have a big day. They're going to win. But if the story here really is, if Tennessee wins, they're 5-2, and if Tennessee beats Kansas City and makes Kansas City 3-4, a ugly losing record, 3-4 for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, then we can start having the conversation like, how bad are things going? We're only 7 games in, but we got a losing record and it's ugly. So I think so far the criticisms of Mahomes have been a little bit like come on, relax. However, if they don't win this game, then I'm willing to start having the conversation like, oh, maybe things are going more sour than I thought. Game number 3, Jets at Patriots. The big storyline here is they both have rookie starting quarterbacks. This is Zach Wilson for the Jets against Mac Jones for New England. Game is in New England, and for the first time, hopefully, this is going to be the first of many matchups we'll see for years to come between Mac Jones and Zach Wilson. I believe, and I also hope, I do believe that, but I also I'm rooting for both of them. I want them to be franchise quarterbacks for each of their football teams. Now, the Patriots are a better team. The Patriots should win this game, probably by a lot, actually. But the Jets are coming off of a bye week. I wonder what they did during the bye week. I would imagine, hopefully, they spent a lot of the week stealth scouting, trying to understand how to make themselves better. And hopefully, they spent a lot of the week preparing for the Patriots. I am curious if having a bye week off will help the Jets make this game more competitive. I don't think it is, but I'm still curious because I like the quarterback matchup between Zach Wilson and Mac Jones. Game number 4, probably the biggest game of the weekend. You have the Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. The Bengals are 4-2. The Ravens are 5-1. It's a massive AFC North matchup. Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson. Do I need to say any more? I can't wait for this game. It's going to be really fun, really exciting. The Bengals have turned their franchise around, and I don't need to say much more. Just think about, this is a huge matchup, a divisional rivalry between 2 great quarterbacks and 2 teams with good records. Game of the week, Bengals at Ravens. This will be definitely the game I highlight on the first episode next week. Topic number 1 will be front and center, hopefully, Bengals at Ravens, assuming it's going to be the great game. I think it will be. Game number 5, Lions at Rams. Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff against their former football teams. Remember, they were traded for each other during the offseason. It was a lopsided trade. Matthew Stafford went to L.A., Jared Goff and a bunch of first-round draft picks went to the Lions. Personally, I expect Matthew Stafford and the Rams to embarrass the Lions like 35-10 or something like that. Matthew Stafford, I think, left pretty frustrated with his former football team, and he's going to be very motivated to, kind of get revenge against his former team. Now, the other thought, though, is how does Matthew Stafford handle pressure? I thought against Tampa earlier this year, like the biggest game he's probably played in the regular season in years, I thought Matthew Stafford was underwhelming. So does the moment get to Matthew Stafford's head and affect him at all? I don't know. But that's a fun thought is, could that moment be a little bit big for Matthew Stafford? And can you imagine, think about this, can you imagine if Jared Goff got his very first win in Detroit on the road against the LA Rams and their former quarterback in LA, Matthew Stafford? Can you imagine? Sorry, the former quarterback in Detroit. Like, can you imagine that Detroit Lions fans are really, really frustrated with Jared Goff, their quarterback? They're like, we shouldn't have traded for this guy. We shouldn't have restructured his contract, all this stuff. But imagine if he became the hero and beat Matthew freaking Stafford on the road and got revenge for Lions fans. A lot of Lions fans for years were frustrated with Stafford going, this guy, like, just there's a lot at play here. The narratives, the revenge, the storylines. I bet no one's going to throw out the possibility of Jared Goff winning this week, and I don't think he does. But imagine the few people that will be very, very happy in Detroit if Jared Goff does beat Matthew Stafford, who forcibly left their franchise. Weird and fun, and that's the most unexpected storyline. That would be unbelievable if it happened. Game number 6, Colts at 49ers. The Colts are 2-4. They're trying to save their year, and they were 1-4 last week. Then they won another game. The Colts will not be at full strength for this game either. Braden Smith, their right tackle, is not playing. He's hurt. Starting corner Rock Ya-Sin is also out. A couple big losses, among others that I'm not going to mention. 49ers rookie quarterback Trey Lance is inactive due to an injury. Kind of funny, I did a film analysis of Trey Lance. It's interesting how when you use your quarterback as a battering ram, he doesn't like that very much. His body doesn't tend to respond very well to being used like a battering ram. I'm talking to you, Kyle Shanahan. The way you called plays for Trey Lance is really frustrating. Although a lot of people are like, is it even real? Maybe Trey Lance isn't actually hurt. They just want him out of the game to avoid controversy, so there's no question that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play or not. They're like, to avoid controversy, let's just keep Trey Lance off the field this game. That's a fun conspiracy. I don't know if it's true, but it is an interesting conspiracy theory. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a starter in this game for the 49ers. Does that help the Colts? It might actually be in their benefit. I don't know. Although I think Jimmy Garoppolo does some stuff mentally that Trey Lance isn't capable of doing yet. And we saw that against the Cardinals in Trey Lance's first ever start. This is a must-win game for the Colts. The Colts have to win this football game. How will Jimmy Garoppolo play? I don't know. Should be a good game, but the outcome has really big consequences for both sides in this game. And I want to say I'm bringing on a guy. His name is Colts Law Lawrence. He talks about the Colts on the internet. He's coming on the show. I'm recording with him on Wednesday next week. We will definitely talk about this game in that long conversation. I'm really curious to talk to him and kind of do a debrief on how the first 7 games went of the year for the Colts. So little teaser of that. That is coming next week. Game number 7, the final most interesting game in my opinion. Although there's one other game I talked about. What's the game? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let me look. There's one game that I haven't mentioned. I'm gonna cut because there's something I want to look up. There's one other game. I said 7, but I'm gonna give a bonus one before we get into the Monday Night Football game. There's some game happening this weekend where I'm like, I remember looking at it going, that may not be a good game, but it is still interesting. Okay, here is the bonus game. I looked it up. The game that this is gonna be a bad game. I think it's gonna be a blowout. But the Cardinals do play against the Houston Texans this week. The game is in Arizona, and I just think it's interesting because it's J.J. Watt against his former team. It's the J.J. Watt revenge game, and again, not a good football game. I wouldn't put it as my top 7 storylines, but maybe it is interesting because it's J.J. Watt's opportunity to kind of get revenge and put a beating on the former team that he left and was not happy with. And I'm really interested to see how J.J. Watt does against that offensive line in Houston. Now, game number 7 officially. I gave you a fun bonus one on Monday Night Football. You have the Saints at Seattle. I believe New Orleans wins this game, but Seattle has a shot. A lot of people are talking about this game being a blowout. Like, we'll see. Seattle's backup quarterback Geno Smith is playing because Russell Wilson, the regular starting quarterback in Seattle, is hurt. And in the last 2 weeks, Geno Smith coming in with Russell Wilson injured for one game, then playing against Pittsburgh last week. Look, he's not been amazing, but he's been competent. And so, like I said, a lot of people are predicting this game to be a blowout. I think it's better than we think because of Geno Smith. And also, do you really, like, a lot of people are putting a lot of stock into Jameis Winston, the Saints starting quarterback. I'm still not at the point where I trust Jameis Winston to reliably give us a great performance week to week. So I'm like, wow, let's slow down on there's going to be a blowout narrative there. Now, one interesting story here is that Saints receiver Michael Thomas is not going to play. Looks like he will not return until at least November 7th against Atlanta, the Falcons game. So it's interesting that I thought Michael Thomas was going to be back in this game. Apparently not. That's another thing that brings New Orleans a little bit down closer to Seattle. Either way, I'm hoping for a really fun and close game on Monday Night Football. Now, it's week 7. Here are the teams that have a bye week. The Bills have a bye week. Dallas has a bye week. Minnesota, the Vikings have a bye week. Pittsburgh, the LA Chargers, and Jacksonville. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams all have a bye week this weekend. And that's NFL Week 7 in a nutshell. The 7 games I'm most excited for, plus one fun, unexpected, unprepared little bonus game. J.J. Watt getting revenge against Houston.